algebra and geometry? Yuck! But Miss Pocket Ronnie can help you.
Okay, we're going to be doing some more trig ratios. Remember, ratios is a fancy word for fraction. Last lesson, we talked about sine is opposite over hypotenuse. The one thing to remember, trig ratios are used for right triangles only. You need to have a right triangle. And then your opposite over hypotenuse is relative to where your angle is. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent is opposite over adjacent. And remember, we learned the SOHCAHTOA as a way to remember that. So if you're making a formula sheet, you could write this on your formula sheet. Today we're going to learn reciprocals of these three trig ratios. So where there's a total of 6 trig ratios. So the reciprocal of sine is cosecant. To spell it out as cosecant, but the abbreviation is CSC. So if the reciprocal of sine is cosecant, then you are literally taking the reciprocal of sine. So that means cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite. The reciprocal of cosine is secant, abbreviated SEC. So that would be the reciprocal of cosine. The reciprocal of tangent is cotangent, and that would be the reciprocal of that. The way that I remember which ones are reciprocals of each other, the S's do not go together. Sine and secant are not reciprocals of each other. Cosine and cosecant are not reciprocals of each other. The co and the co do not go together. So it's the S goes with the C and the S goes with the C. So the S's and the C's are the ones that are reciprocals of each other. That's how I can always remember it. Okay, let's look at page 30C, problems 1 through 6. We are looking at this right triangle, and here is our angle theta. The one thing I would always recommend is getting rid of the decimal. So to get rid of this decimal, you need to multiply it by 10 to move your decimal over. If you multiply this number by 10, you need to multiply each of the other sides by 10 to keep it proportional. So if you multiply this by 10, this new number would become 134. Multiplying this by 10, that would be 120. Multiplying this by 10, we're now using 60. So these are our numbers we're going to use instead, so that we don't have decimals in a fraction. So first off, we're wanting to do all 6 trig ratios. So my recommendation is to always start with sine, cosine, and tangent. So if you start with sine, is opposite over hypotenuse, you're standing at theta. So if you want opposite over hypotenuse, the side that's opposite from you is the 120. That's the opposite of the theta over the hypotenuse of 134. We can reduce that, reducing them both by 2. That would be 60 over 67. And I don't believe that reduces any more than that. Now cosine, standing still at theta, we want adjacent over hypotenuse. So if we're standing here, if our little man is standing here at theta, 60 is what is adjacent or next to us. So we want 60 over the hypotenuse, 134. We can reduce those both by 2. That would be 30 over 67. And I don't believe that will reduce anymore. Okay, looking at tangent. So if we're standing here at theta, tangent opposite over adjacent. So what's opposite of us is 120, and then the side adjacent to us is the 60. That actually divides out to 2. 120 divided by 60 is 2. So you can leave it as 2. Okay, now to do the other ones. Cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So in my opinion, once you find sine, cosine, tangent, all you need to do is look at these numbers. You don't need to go through, oh, cosecant is what over what? Hypotenuse over opposite. No. Just know that cosecant is reciprocal of sine. Then you can just take this number and take the reciprocal. It's already reduced and everything. You don't have to go through the process of reducing it again. Save yourself some work. Make it easy on yourself. Get your answer for sine, take the reciprocal. Now you've got the answer for cosecant. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So get your answer for cosine, just take the reciprocal of it. The one thing that you need to watch for cosecant, secant, and cotangent when you take the reciprocal is make sure you're not leaving any kind of radicals in the denominator. If you take the reciprocal and you have a radical in the denominator, you need to get rid of it. Cotangent is reciprocal of tangent. You can make any number a fraction by putting it over 1. So that's like saying 2 over 1. So taking the reciprocal of 2 is the same as 1/2. So the main thing is, just remember, cosecant is a reciprocal of sine. Secant is a reciprocal of cosine. Cotangent is a reciprocal of tangent.